Good morning. Now, I'm Shagrat Dawson. I'm a litigant against the City of Tampa, two of your former officers and some other public individuals. And I have a couple of cases, but one particularly pending in the Middle District of Florida, where the City of Tampa is named as a defendant, and the case number is 22 CV 129. It'll be Doss versus Holder et al. And I guess the city might need money for other reasons, so they get it from people asking for public records requests. So anyway, back in 2017, one of your police officers, who happened to be the mayor's head of security, allegedly received a phone call from a local judge requesting that he investigate me. And that investigation wasn't an honest attempt to find any facts sufficient to charge me with felony perjury. It was essentially a legal lynching. And by the way, if you don't know, in the state of Florida, a perjury conviction can get you 5 years in prison, so I wouldn't even be here today. I self-represented, and the case ended when the judge was sent in from another circuit by the Florida Supreme Court. And he dismissed the case after about an hour of time. But it took me disqualifying several judges in 7 months of being prosecuted and bouncing from courtroom to courtroom and from judge to judge. And throughout this criminal proceeding, I requested documents from the city that I was entitled to as a part of break. So recently I put in a request for that same information, and I get this invoice for $10,614.50. And you all, the city, is claiming that somebody needs to put 461 and a half hours toward finding what you should have had when you were prosecuting me. So I don't think anybody in here believes that it should take any one person or any combination of people essentially 12 hours of working time to get me the information. In fact, you're going to give it to me because I'm entitled to it under Florida law. And you can just go to check out Chapter 119 of the Florida Statutes or Sunshine Act. Plus, our governor's already put it on the record that Florida is a law and order state, and I appreciate him doing that. And no one gets to disregard the laws that our legislature has put in place. So I'm here hoping that I can convince you all to get whoever is responsible to get me the information I requested, and I shouldn't have to do some sort of GoFundMe to have the city do what it's supposed to be doing. So I appreciate your time, and hopefully you take me seriously with what I'm asking for. You all take care.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Good.
Mr. Massey, are you familiar with what this gentleman's talking about, sir? $10,000 is a lot of money for public record.
Yes, sir.
I'm not familiar with the exact item, but under state law and we under our we have a public records office, and we do charge for staff time if it's for extraordinary requests that require additional staff time or special type of services in trying to retrieve all the records. So that is standard operating procedure, and we are allowed to do that under state law. There's cases where that's been challenged before for other municipalities, and the courts have upheld that our ability to charge for those sorts of services. So.
If I may.
I can't let you speak right now, sir. Mr. Massey, I understand all those rules. My concern is if there is a public record and police arrested people or did anything to this gentleman from 2017, in my mind, there should be already records held already and not.
Exactly.
All I can do, I'm not familiar with this in particular. All I can do is we will look into it.
Kelly, could you get this gentleman's information, because I see something wrong here, a lot wrong here. I understand how sometimes we become victims when you have a certain kind of skin color. I hate to say that, but
Say it.
the bottom line is I want to get this information. I'll probably be gone, but I know several colleagues will be here, and that needs to be looked into, because you can't tell me. I was a police officer a long time. They keep records.
I know they do.
So gentlemen, give her her name, sir, and hope we can address that.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in chambers?
Real quickly.
Mr. Massey.
To Mr. Good's question, Ursula Richardson, who's in charge of our litigation department, this matter is an active litigation. I think she wanted to let you all know that this is standard operating procedure and that some of this material is not stuff that would have been previously.
And just so that you are aware, this is a federal lawsuit that's in front of Judge Charlene Honeywell in federal court. We are in the discovery process, and as a part of the discovery process, you can't just get free records. So if it's going to take any extraordinary amount of time to get the records that Mr. Doss is asking for, and I haven't looked at his new request, he sent a public records request first when he should have been operating within the confines of the actual lawsuit itself, the discovery rules. He just, I believe yesterday, sent an actual discovery request, and I'll have the opportunity to look at that. But even if that new request that's been sent through the proper channels, basically there are a lot of records that he's asking for. He is required to bear the cost of any extraordinary request. If he's just asking for a police report that's 5 or 10 pages, that's something we turn over without any issue. If you're asking for thousands of pages of records, you're not entitled to those for free. So if you are in discovery, you have to bear some cost of that discovery when you are bringing a lawsuit, and that's the same for the city. So if you have any questions, I can answer those.
Well, we thank you for running down here, giving us a little more explanation on it. But I still think $10,000 is a lot of money for some records though. But again, hopefully we can get the gentleman what he needs and the city can get what they need and we can move on. But I just want to make sure that he did get heard. Because, I mean, to me, it raised the eyebrow of my colleague here. That's a lot of money for some public records. So, again, hopefully we can get it worked out.
Well, let me just, for the record, since we are in federal litigation and Judge Honeywell is in charge of the case, if he has an issue, when we're in a lawsuit, you bring those issues to the judge for her to resolve and not city council. So that would be the proper channel to get his lawsuit-related issues resolved, is the federal judge.
And I would agree, but sometimes citizens don't know that. They just want someone to hear them or get them some help or get them in the right direction. But
I get it. Mr. Doss is experienced pro se litigant, so he's not unfamiliar with the system.
thank you, Mr. Richardson.
Welcome.
For the record, would you just please state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ursula Richardson, Chief of Litigation for the Legal Department.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in chambers who wishes to speak during public comment? Madam Clerk?